So apparently Harvard's getting divorced from the United States military. That'll be interesting. Don't know what to say about that, but other than that's probably for the best. Anyway, Pete Hegseth is going to give us a run through of it. I'm kind of curious to see what it is, and we'll see.
Harvard was attached to the military?
I think there was like grants and stuff going through it. I honestly have no idea. Maybe there was fellowships and stuff. Anyway, maybe they can't have ROTC anymore. Who knows? Let's hear what Pete Hegseth has to say. Deus Vult.
As part of my commitment to restore the warrior ethos within the War Department, it's imperative to stay mission-focused across the full spectrum of expenditures. This includes maximizing our return on investment when officers and senior enlisted service members attend expensive civilian universities. Graduates should emerge much more capable warfighters.
Yeah, I don't know. I just kind of tend to agree with that. I wonder if, like, you can't use your GI Bill to go towards to go towards
fair to me.
Yeah, to go towards Harvard. Yeah, so far so good. I really don't see any issues with what he's saying. But let's let him keep going.
You'd think. But unfortunately, America's highly ranked universities no longer live up to their founding principles. As bastions of free speech, open inquiry, and committed to the American values that make our country great. Take Harvard University, for example. I know it well. Our military has had a rich tradition with Harvard throughout American history. In 1775, you probably didn't know this, General George Washington took command of the Continental Army in Harvard Yard and used the university as a military base. From that time through the Korean War, military service was commonplace at Harvard. There are more recipients of our nation's Medal of Honor who went to Harvard than any other civilian institution in the United States.
I had no idea about that. So yeah, it makes sense. Harvard's got strong ties with the military. So
wow, who knew Harvard used to be so based?
That was back when college actually meant something, let's be honest. So with this, I'm wondering how this will affect Harvard. Because that was an interesting history. I had no idea that it was that well entrenched into the military tradition before. So
they probably didn't go for a degree back then, but education instead.
That's something. Who knows? It was networking, maybe. That's just interesting to me. I had no idea.
But today, this university with such a unique history, which receives billions of our federal tax dollars, is one of the red.
Why? Why does it receive billions of our tax dollars? It should receive $0 to Harvard or to any university, really. Like, at least private universities. Maybe public can get like small grants for building expansions or like loans with low interest rate or something. Why should it have any tax dollars going to it?
Where do those billions even go?
I have no idea. Getting people with lower SAT scores in just because it makes the student body look a little different from each other. This is such flawed reasoning. I have no idea. Anyway, let's keep going.
Hot centers of hate America activists.
Aren't they still charging students too?
Yep. That's why I'm like, no, let's not give any money to Harvard.
Too many faculty members openly loathe our military. They cast
true,
our
actually.
armed forces in a negative light and squelch anyone who challenges their leftist political leanings, all while charging enormous tuition. It's not worth it.
I'm actually curious. Let me ask Grok. Let's ask Grok real quick. How much is one semester at Harvard? How much is one semester at Harvard? It costs one semester for Harvard. What? Hold on a second. Undergraduate cost of attendance 2025 to 2026. Yeah. Annual tuition is $50,000.
Oh my.
Oh, it's subtotal. What?
I don't even make that much on my salary.
Yeah, so divide that by 2 and it's like 40,000 per semester. Well, that's crazy. So they charge that on top of getting federal money? They must be rolling in the money. Good grief. All right. Yeah. Ooh. Yep, nope. Gotta say, if they're charging that much, they don't need taxpayer dollars. Let's be honest. I know, yeah, that's exactly what it sounds like. One student pays for tuition. What does the rest of the money go towards?
Of that teaching Japanese kids.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Worth it. They've replaced open inquiry and honest debate with rigid orthodoxy. In our line of work, ideological automatons are useless.
This is true.
Leaders who can wrestle with multiple viewpoints, professionals who can think critically and independently to solve important questions.
Like in the American military, if the general goes down, it falls to the next ranks. So like colonels, lieutenant colonels, and it keeps going down and down and down. Everyone has to be able to act as a leader at some point in time. That prevents like decapitation strategies from working against most American units. This is why NCOs actually do get leadership training as well. So if the way he's talking about it, those ideological automatons will crash the second they don't have orders to follow. They won't be able to think for themselves critically. Now, there's rules and regulations that prevent issues like, what's the word? I guess over questioning orders, insubordination. That help curb that kind of behavior in a high risk scenario. Yeah, well, in mutiny on the ship, but like insubordination, not listening to orders. There are safeguards against that. But the ability to act independently is actually hugely important for leadership positions in the United States military, regardless of what rank you are. Now, it gets less and less effective the lower you get, but it is one of the reasons we have one of the best strategies in the world. So, making these automatons of social justice and then having them join the military is just a mistake. Let's be honest.
Even more troubling is Harvard's partnership with our adversaries. Campus research programs have partnered with the Chinese Communist Party.
What? Is that true? Brock? That's bad.
That's a national security threat. What?
Yeah. No, that's a big old national security threat. Hang on. How much money has Harvard gotten from the CCP? No publicly available evidence. CCP is ruling. Okay. However, Harvard has received substantial funding from Chinese sources, mainly China. Okay, so they at least something, because all companies are tied to the CCP in China. Yeah, no, that's really bad. That's wow. Yeah, that's a.
But Harvard isn't a company?
I guess not.
It's an educational institution.
But it charges money for profit. What? Yeah, no, that's a huge national security risk. I'm surprised that they allowed that to happen. It really shouldn't have. I mean, especially if they have close military ties. Yeah.
So why on earth does the CCP have its grubby paws in there?
No idea. But this is making a strong case to end student visas. Honestly, that seems like a really good call. Any university that's even remotely close to involved with the United States military should not be allowing student visas.
Spouting communist gobbledygook.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Cold War never really ended, did it? Anyway.
University leadership encouraged a campus environment that celebrated Hamas, allowed attacks on Jews, and still promotes discrimination based on race in violation of Supreme Court decisions. DEI was literally founded at Harvard.
Oh, real quick. What he's talking about is they're resisting the order against affirmative action, which I think the Supreme Court struck down, if I'm not mistaken. Didn't the Supreme Court find that you could, the executive branch could say that you can't do affirmative action?
They're still doing that?
Yeah, apparently. I can't remember what the exact wording was. Well, I've already done Grok twice. We're not going to do it a third time. Not going to live fact check myself. But I think it was my understanding that affirmative action was found.
Yeah, the Supreme Court decision was pretty clear that they can't decide who can attend based on race.
Right. Okay. Makes sense to me. Moving on.
Harvard. Thankfully, President Trump understands this and has moved to end these abuses. He called out Harvard for being a factory of woke ideology and a breeding ground for anti-American radicals. His administration reminded Harvard leadership that it's the responsibility of the federal government to ensure that all recipients are responsible stewards of taxpayer funds. Last year, the Trump administration put Harvard on notice. Quote, Harvard has fundamentally failed to protect American students and faculty from anti-Semitic violence and harassment, in addition to other alleged violations of the Civil Rights Act of 1964, end quote. Why should the War Department support an environment that's destructive to our nation and the principles that the vast majority of Americans hold dear? The answer to that question is that we should not, and we will not. For too long, this department has sent our best and brightest officers.
Hang on, I want to go back a little bit. I'm processing here. There's a lot going on. So basically, Harvard's been ignoring policy decisions and pushing forward affirmative action and all that, despite the fact that the Supreme Court ruled against it. My understanding. I'm going to listen back to this.
Harvard on notice. Quote, Harvard has fundamentally failed to protect American students and faculty from anti-Semitic violence and harassment, in addition to other alleged violations of the Civil Rights Act of 19.
Okay, yeah. Gotcha. So this is actually equal application of the Civil Rights Act. Makes sense to me. I really never liked the Civil Rights Act as a whole, though, because, the whole freedom of association thing. But it's funny that it's being used against people who glorify it so much.
Sounds fair to me.
Yeah. I'm not really sure what to make of this one way or the other, though, because on one hand, they're using the law as written, which is fine.
It's kind of like the KKK Act being used against Don Lemon Lowell.
Yeah, and that's well earned because looked like he was trying to intimidate people based on he got in the way of people from getting in and out of the church. That's the thing. So it could easily be interpreted as intimidation. And he's arguing that I was just doing a journalism, but you were standing in front of the door and blocking people. So, I mean, can't block a point of ingress or egress. I'm not really sure. Not really sure what to say. But with this, it's Harvard basically acting a fool. All right, let's keep going.
1964, end quote. Why should the War Department support an environment that's destructive to our nation and the principles that the vast majority of Americans hold dear?
Oh yeah, getting on top of the pastor and telling him don't push me when the pastor was trying to enforce personal space boundaries with I don't even think it was like a shove. It was like hey, dude, back off. Yeah, self-victimize. So I'm not sure about Harvard where it's currently at. I honestly think we should pull all funding from it entirely, and that there'd be no real reason to continue giving it any federal funding, let alone military support. So why stop at the military, I guess? Honestly, we might need to start clawing back money from them based on how they've been acting.
The answer to that question is that we should not, and we will not.
Good.
For too long, this department has sent our best and brightest officers to Harvard, hoping the university would better understand and appreciate our warrior class. Instead, too many of our officers came back looking too much like Harvard, heads full of globalist and radical ideologies that do not improve our fighting ranks. So, starting now and beginning in the 2026-2027 school year, I am discontinuing all graduate-level professional military education, PME, all fellowships and certificate programs between Harvard University and the War Department for active duty service members.
That's actually pretty big. That's a lot of things. That means if anyone was already going through it, then
there we go.
Yeah, that's actually kind of huge. How much money would Harvard be losing from this, though? I don't think it's going to be enough for them to really feel it. More like a rebuke. I think they really do just need to cut all federal funding to it. Kind of leave it high and dry. You know what? It's a start, though. It's a start. I think Pete's just kind of done with them.
This policy applies to service members enrolling in future courses of study at Harvard University while on active duty. Now, any currently enrolled service members will be allowed to finish their course of study. With some exceptions, the Ivy League as a whole has pervasive institutional bias and a lack of viewpoint diversity, including the coddling of toxic ideologies that undercuts our mission right here in this building. That is why in 2 weeks' time, components of all of our departments, Army, Navy, and Air Force, will evaluate all existing graduate programs for active duty service members at all Ivy League universities and other civilian universities. The goal is to determine whether or not they actually deliver cost-effective strategic education for future senior leaders when compared to, say, public universities and our military graduate program.
That's actually kind of huge. So public university would be like the University of Memphis, University of Tennessee.
Harvard should owe the U.S. government money with the evil they've done so far.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. They probably need to do some clawback because a lot of these Ivy Leagues and private universities, they've been really, really bad I think Christian Brothers University is one that I'm aware of that's pretty decent. That's a private university, but the majority are just not good. I think even MIT's got some of this rot in it as well. Kind of why I'm wanting to see all the colleges taken down and built back up from scratch. Same with the entire school system, honestly. Institutional learning has been a colossal failure. Let's be honest. And the way that they've developed these critical practice type things going into all these universities and even K-12 is unacceptable. We need to find a way to recover what we've lost from all this and the amount of damage they've done. They really need to pay for it. But, you know, that apparently makes you anti-education or whatever. Yeah, I don't know if I'm anti-education or anti-whatever this is, because I don't think anyone's really learning much from this other than how to be a DEI zombie. Anyway, let's keep going.
At the War Department, we will strive to maximize taxpayer value in building lethality to establish deterrence. It's that simple. That no longer includes spending millions of dollars on expensive universities.
Anti-degree and certification. I think people should just go to learn.
Has a real problem. They're spending more than what students. Yeah, it's a broken system. I don't really know how else to describe it. It really needs to get fixed. The system before the Prussian model was introduced was actually arguably better, and the busing system really hurt things. So I'm not sure what to do here. Like, if we could keep the pre-busing model minus the issues that sort of predate it, we might have something here. I really think that schools should hard cap at 150 students with 10 teachers tops, and let the teachers decide how to do the classes, and then maybe have like individualized study time for each student. So 15 students per teacher, basically. I think that could work a lot better. But, you know, people want scale, and if anything has shown us, scale has failed to develop good results 9 times out of 10. As soon as you get too much bureaucracy, things start getting worse and worse. I don't know how to fix it. I really don't. That's just an idea. Sure, other people have other ideas too. One thing I think most of us can agree on: get rid of the teachers' unions, all of them. I think that's going to be a huge start. It forced me to go to school in the inner city, perfectly good elementary school block away. Exactly, stuff like that. The zoning laws, school choice would be probably also a pretty good start. So school choice, and then total abolition of the teachers' unions, all of them. And I would even go so far as to say make public sector unions fully illegal, because they are siphoning from the taxpayer like crazy. I see no reason to let them continue. Anyway, let's keep going.
That actively undercut our mission and undercut our country. We train warriors, not wokesters. Harvard, good riddance.
Good riddance. Dang. Yeah, no, that sounds pretty good to me. Honestly, I see no reason to continue funding places like Harvard, where they have protests that promote Hamas and stuff like that. Yep, Base Pete there.
Pete.
Honestly, that was a pretty good decision overall, I would say. With how Harvard's been behaving, I think this is kind of long overdue. Anyway, let's hope the military gets better for it.
I agree.
And if we find out that a lot of these other Ivy League schools are doing the same thing, punish them too. Let Harvard be the example we set, and then follow through. Don't just do Harvard and stop there. Every other school that's doing the same crap, cut them off as well. That's what I'm thinking. Anyways, if you made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, and all that. And you can catch me live on
Bye,
Kick.
YouTube.
You see the link is down over there. And we'll catch you later. Bye-bye.